Request Video. I'm Gia, and it is July 3rd, a good day for us because we have the members of Electronic here with us, Johnny Marr and Bernard Sumner, and we're at Warner Brothers, and it's smoggy, and it's hot.
That's nice.
And you've been drinking a wonderful beverage. We won't mention brand names because, well, they're not sponsors anyway. Go ahead. I guess the first and most logical question to ask is, especially with you, with the success of New Order, and still that being something that's still very, very active, and Johnny, with you even having worked with like Matt Johnson of the so many other things going on, what made you decide to form Electronic?
There's certain things that we couldn't do within a band format, you know, like we couldn't work with Pet Shop Boys, for instance, and what else couldn't we do, Johnny?
We couldn't go out to nightclubs and fall over and make fools of ourselves, could we?
And get away with it, yeah.
Get away with it.
Is that, okay, get away with it. Speaking of getting away with it, does that have anything to do with being able to do this and not have to worry about other people?
No, that was Neil's title. You have to ask him about that.
Okay,
Can't even speak, let alone write titles.
Well, next time, that's okay. How has it affected your work with New Order, and is there any sort of a conflict of interest there?
Basically, I had to stop working with New Order for like a year. When we first started off, we were trying to do two things at the same time. New Order, well, actually three things at the same time. We were doing production work as well for other bands, like I did a few remixes.
Yeah, I did some sessions for different people.
Yeah.
Pet Shop Boys and Kirsty MacColl, people like that.
Kirsty MacColl, that's funny you should mention that. I think we've got a video for us coming up a little bit later on in the show, so we'll get your opinion on that. Well, we're going to start off, we're going to take a look at a video. We're going to see Get the Message right now, and it's for Charles, who, I don't know where you live, Charles, but I know you wanted to see this video, so we'll be back in just a few minutes with more with Electronic. Hi, welcome back to Request Video. I'm Gia, and this is Electronic, Bernard Sumner and Johnny Marr. And you two mentioned in the last segment that you can bring in outside collaborators anytime you want, for instance, Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe. Who else have you worked with? Who do you want to work with in the future?
It's a bit difficult, really, because we've kind of found a formula that works. We get on really well with Pet Shop Boys. They're a good laugh, a really good laugh. And me and Johnny get on quite well, don't we?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. What do you mean? We get on really well all the time, and we find a winning formula, I think. I don't think we need any more people involved.
Well, not so much famous people anyway, celebrities, so to speak. On the LP so far, there's been the only other musicians have been two drummers and an oboe player. The drummers being David Palmer and Donald Johnson from a group called A Certain Ratio. And we can have flexibility with musicians. We use the musicians in a live capacity, and as I say, on a couple of tracks on the LP. But we're far too obsessive, really, and when we like taking care of all the rest of the music ourselves, and as Bernard says, we do have a formula that works.
Right.
But that's not to say if we meet any interesting musicians that we won't have them involved. It's sort of pretty open, really, which is another thing really that you don't have in a group.
Right.
The basic idea is that it's two producers, stroke songwriters, doing whatever is good for the song. You know, there's no sort of egos involved or any lines drawn. The only lines that we do draw really is that Bernard does all the words and sings, and I play the guitar. Which,
No, I'm sorry.
No, but and as I say, it gives us the room to be totally obsessive about every aspect of the music. And if there are any musicians we want to work with, we can pull them in.
I noticed in the liner notes that Ann Dudley from Art of Noise arranged the strings on one of the songs that you did. So are you going to bring in other musicians, not just in a capacity of playing the music, but in arranging and things to get the different...
Yeah. I mean, we're not quite mastered conducting an orchestra yet.
Oh, please.
So little jobs like that we need to get additional help in.
That's good enough. Knowing that Bernard has New Order to fall back on, have you thought about forming another band or anything
Not really.
outside of Electronic?
Not really, no, because I've been fortunate to be able to pretty much do work that I really enjoy doing and do what I like, really. And it's not something that I'd trade. I mean, Electronic and keeps me really busy. I've been really happy with the sessions I've done over the last couple of years and the records I've made. I made a record with a group called Stex, who are a London band who I think are really good. I enjoyed that. I did a couple of things with the Pet Shop Boys on Behaviour. Talking Heads like a long time back, and the two of us did a work on this record by a group called Banderas out of England. So I keep pretty busy, too busy to form a group.
Okay, well, we'll get back into more groups. Real quick, we're going to take a look at Kirsty MacColl in just a few seconds, and, well, in just a few minutes, and Big Audio Dynamite. You mentioned Kirsty MacColl a few minutes ago. Is she somebody who you think is real
I've known her for a long time. She sang on a couple of Smiths records, and I was involved in her first record, and I wrote this new tune, Walking Down Madison, for her. So working with Kirsty is a real labour of love because we're friends and stuff, you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of the Smiths, we're going to take a look at Shoplifters of the World Unite right now. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with more from Electronic.
Your luck.
Hi, welcome back to Request Video, and our guest today is Electronic, Johnny Marr and Bernard Sumner. And as far as electronics music, is it going to pretty much stay the same? Do you see any changes happening with it in the future?
Well, I think, you know, this is the first time we've worked together, and I think with this album we're just scratching the surface of what we can do, really. And I don't know, maybe we'll go maybe some more hardcore dance stuff on the next album, or
Yeah, well, it was important for us with this LP also to do something where every single track meant something to everybody, and there was basically no room for any kind of indulgences. So I think that's the way we're going to go, self-indulgent.
What about music overall, the whole industry? What do you see happening with it in the future? You think it's positive things, more change?
I think it's quite a positive time in music at the moment. I think the most innovative and truly progressive sounds and tunes I've heard really have been coming out of the dance field. I'm not sure whether that'll change, but I think a lot of groups will take a lead from that. And
are you referring to more something along the lines of hip-hop or
house music, really?
Okay.
You know, house and techno. There's a lot of sort of interesting European techno music coming out of Belgium and stuff, just in terms of interesting sounds. But the only problem with that is there's very little identity. You know, there aren't specific groups making those records. I think that's a slight problem with it that might kind of change in the future.
the last 3 years have been a great period for dance music in England. It seems really taken off, and some of the best dance records I've ever heard come out in the last 3 years.
Well, we're going to take a look at a New Order video right now. What's in the future for New Order?
We've already started a new album, so that should be out in probably February. But,
that will make our audience very, very happy. Well, coming up after these messages, we're going to see True Faith and Fraser Chorus, Nothing, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Segment with Electronic. And will you be touring here anytime soon?
I think so, yeah. We're going to do a huge 5-day tour in the States.
5-day tour, yeah. Time consuming.
Well, that's big by our standards.
The last one was only 2 dates in the same place.
Yeah. With Depeche Mode, do you guys get on with them quite well? Is it? Listen to me, I'm speaking like I'm from England. Do you have a good relationship with them?
We only met him last week at a Pet Shop Boys party at like 4:30 in the morning on the dance floor, and we only met Martin. But he seemed okay, yeah.
That's really interesting, especially knowing that you played with them and that they specifically wanted you to tour.
We just didn't get a chance to see him because when we came off, they were getting ready to go on stage. But I hear they're really nice guys, yeah.
Do you have any relationship with Morrissey now that he's off doing his own thing?
Not really, no. We're both pretty much too busy, you know.
How did the breakup of the Smiths affect you in a positive way, do you think?
Ultimately, it did, yeah. I mean, obviously, it was a very, very difficult thing, and it's not the sort of thing I'd like to do again.
Right.
It was the most difficult sort of period of my life that I can ever remember, and it was, let's just say, it was very, very hard, and but it was worth it.
One of my favorite questions to ask people, especially somebody that I'm a big fan of, is what do you guys listen to? Who do you guys think are important bands coming up?
There's a guy from Manchester called MC Busby. I don't even think he's got a record deal in England at the moment. He's really good. Massive Attack from England.
Right.
Stereo MCs, the Lars.
Kraftwerk.
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah.
You're big fans of a lot of different kind of music.
Yeah, we like different, you know, a lot of different kinds, yeah.
S-Express.
Well, on that note, I want to thank both of you for taking time. I know you have to run, you have a whole bunch of stuff to do. The tour, when do you think you'll be coming over here to the States, especially into LA?
It's going to be October or November.
Okay, well, we'll look for you then. And then you'll have to come down to our station so our bands can meet you guys. Thank you very much, and have a good phone call. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We are going to take a look right now at the Beaten Generation. Johnny played with Matt Johnson of the on some stuff. And Electronic, Getting Away With It, and you can look for Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe in this video. And Pet Shop Boys, Seriously. We'll be back in just a few minutes.